this is going to be the game of the team. It doesn't really matter what they pick. Who can hold their nerve and push through this final game to get the victory?
Well, even thinking about the road to this point, right? Neither Obey nor Eager had felt this kind of pressure, right? I think Obey, a lot of people wrote them off in the beginning. You know, that was a big storyline heading into this tournament. Then they just start shutting people down, and win after win. They go out 2-0, and they haven't really felt that, like, final game pressure. Neither has Eager in this particular competition. For Eager, this is the spot, I would say, the semifinals where they envisioned themselves being at. For Obey, like, I'm sure they believed in themselves, but this is it right here. It all comes down to this. Game 5, Eager from North America, Obey from Europe. Who will come out on top, and who's gonna ban out what first? It's gonna be Obey's turn.
Yeah, and I know it's really interesting that you also point that out, because the thing is, we've been talking about how much of an emotional roller coaster it has been for the audience here to watch these games, but I can't even begin to imagine the emotional roller coaster the players are experiencing, and I'm really excited seeing that raw pick go ahead and be taken away on the side of Obey. Eager, I feel like they're probably just going to opt for the standard bans. I think that banning out the Sylvanas is a good choice, or the Nike. I think that that's a really safe option by them, you know. Obey haven't really been having as much success, and Twig hasn't been on that Nike, so I think that there's definitely a lot of correlation there.
Yeah, I think just don't give Twig the Nike at this point. I mean, he's undefeated at Worlds so far with the character, so they're going to have to keep banning that. We see the Guan Yu Ra ban focusing on sustains. They don't want to deal with the heal. They say, no more heals for you. But that does leave open, well, I was going to say it would leave open Sylvanas, but they banned it.
Nah, Eager have stayed true. I mean, these are the bans they've been rolling with, the first two that they've chosen the past couple of games, and they've been finding success in these games since. And it looks like Obey are going to go ahead. They want Prime on that Zeus. And I mean, this is a really risky option for Obey. So, you know, they could be trying to pull a salty run back, you know, like Best did with Anubis. I mean, Prime on Zeus is still pretty dangerous, and you can see Eager right away looking for that Ratatoskr. DJ has been having phenomenal games on this.
Yeah, I'm quite surprised not to see a Terra pick here. This is something that we've seen throughout Super Regionals and the Worlds, this highly contested Terra pick. You normally see it first or second pick, and here we see it's just completely open, no team picking it. But instead they prioritized the same first pick they went for with the Zeus, and we're going to have to see if Team Eager kind of run the same style of strategy with the Janus, perhaps, so they can get on top of the Zeus, maybe that Xing 10 to kind of keep on top of him and make his life a living hell. He was not able to cast last game because Divios was just on top of him, just mowing down.
Interesting fact about that last game, too. Terra, who's been a priority throughout this entire competition, was neither picked nor banned. So that kind of just shows you where things are right now with these two teams.
I think what it's
outplaying each other.
It shows is Obey won't pick Terra, right? So they're giving away some information for the finals if they do make it. So whoever's there, right? They're saying we don't really like picking Terra. Yeah. And Team Eager also is saying they don't like picking Terra.
Clearly.
I mean,
they like picking Anubis.
Anubis over Terra. This is how, please, ranked players, don't try this at home.
Oh, I'm excited for when we get home. This is going to be a really fun time. But Best, again, I mean, we've seen him have success on this Anubis. We've also seen it not have a whole lot of success. But, I mean, the same thing could be said about the Zeus. I think really smart of Eager to go ahead and take away the Tyr and the Thanatos. Two picks that we've seen Variety really comfortable on. They already have Ratatoskr selected, which was another pick that we've seen Variety display very well. So he's going to have to dive a little bit deeper. We haven't seen any Ymir gameplay out of him yet, and that's definitely a god that, you know, Variety has a whole lot of potential on. So I feel like there's possibility here that he might pull it out.
Ymir's definitely a strong pick here. You can put the wall up to block in Anubis, the Rat Dash or Xing Dash. It would definitely be a potent pick. On top of that, you have a character that can kind of frontline for the Zeus, use the freeze to set up the damage, and it's quite a safe pick with the Khepri behind him. It definitely would be an option for Variety. We're going to see the depth of his god pool right here.
Yeah, and like you were talking about, the hard CC, not just for the engagements for Zeus, but I feel like that freeze would be really important in getting Prime out of really difficult situations, or that focus that he was experiencing, because that was something he was struggling with. And Eager, taking that route away from him. I really think that that was a very smart decision by Eager. Variety is definitely under fire here.
Yeah, they know that this guy has been a difference maker in this matchup, and they want to be able to just shut him out completely. Now it's time here, and it looks like they're hovering over the Nox.
This would be crazy. If he's going to bring out the solo lane Nox, I think I'm going to lose my mind. I can't put money on him doing it. No, this would be a lot more kind of variety or CaptainTwig X. You might see that Erlang going into the solo lane. But Fenrir, a great character against this comp, can get on top of Anubis, force his hand a little, you know, force his ultimate out, force his grab out.
Yeah, definitely. I really like the Chronos selection as well. Ataraxia sticking to the mages, and I feel like Chronos and Solar are both two mages that can actually kind of deal with Jing a bit better if you're looking for the mage ADC route, considering that Chronos has the stun. So, as well as the fact that he has the rewind, which helps him in the boxing against the Jing because should Zapman take up a trade that, you know, he finds himself 50% or less at, Ataraxia could definitely come up big here.
And I think this right here just speaks to the confidence if he goes with it that Divios has, and he goes for it. He feels like this is going to give them the victory and take them to the finals. This is it. It all comes down to this. Who do you got, guys?
I want to see NA.
All right, Taco's got NA. What about for you, Suntouch?
I want to see you win, but Team Eager, I think they're going to take it. I love their draft. I like how they've developed it, and unfortunately, I'm going to have to throw my hat on Team Eager here.
Ooh, all right, guys. Well, this is it. Get hyped in the crowd. It's game 5. The throwdown begins. Who comes out on top? Will it be Eager? Will it be Obey? Casters, over to you.
It would not be the World Championships, and it would not be a semi-final at the World Championships if it wasn't a Game 5 involved.
We had to know this was coming. Even when Obey looked so great for the first 2 games, we had to know that this would happen. It's the semifinals of the World Championship. This happens every year.
And take yourselves back to year 1 at Worlds as well, the finals. Titan, PrettyPriMe and Ataraxia were 2 games down. They fought back against that cognitive team to get themselves 2-2. They are in the mirror of this story right now.
And they're in a bad spot, in my opinion, because Eager's draft is beautiful. I love their drafting phase that they just put together, taking Variety's Ymir away after the banning phase, not only keeping it out of Variety's hands, but also putting it into a great matchup. Ymir excels against Zeus, against Khepri, even against Chronos and Erlang.
Bombolo, we were listening, we were talking to Judd Picks and Fans, and you turned around to me and said, you think Eager's got this now. Why?
I feel like Divios played so comfortable on that Jing 10. He's got that, he's ready to go in. Zapman's pumped as well. They took the Ymir off Variety. I think that was a really good strat. And I feel like Best is going to play on this Anubis, and I feel like he's going to go off.
I do feel like Obey have had to go very deep in their god pools as this tournament has gone on here, especially in this 5-man set against Eager. And Eager, meanwhile, they still seem to be sticking to their traditional, what they brought for most of the tournament.
And exactly, that's right. Especially djpernicus on this Ratatoskr looked so comfortable on it in the last game, so I really like this draft from Eager. I can't say it enough.
Well, let's see how things begin this game round, because right now there's 4 members of Eager on the left-hand side once more. Once again, potentially looking to steal away the red buff.
Now this time, Twig is actually heading over, while on the right-hand side, you've got the Soul Laner and PANDALIKE ready to fight Divios on this right side, putting a little bit of pressure onto him, while on the left-hand side, Buff getting leashed back and forth. CaptainTwig has the Rat, that's why you see him over here. Aror does not. They're just relying on the early damage from Ymir.
So right now, look at what Eager does, though. They fall back, and you can see Zapman will get the balls on the left-hand side as TheBest solos the mid-harpies. So still, Eager do get some experience there, but it's not as much as Obey just got.
And no buffs completed on the right-hand side either. So Variety and PANDALIKE hanging out over here. 3 members in the middle lane for Eager. You can see on the right-hand side, PANDALIKE and Variety able to out-clear Divios. They're going to rotate into the right-hand side, as does Eager.
I feel like djpernicus picking this right into Zeus again. He did really well, and it made PrettyPriMe uncomfortable. What about you, Aggro? What do you think about that one?
It was the combination of djpernicus and Divios on that Xing Chen. I love the pressure they put onto PrettyPriMe. But on the other hand, I really like this Khepri pick for PandaLike for that exact same reason. This time, you're going to have a support that could actually peel for the mid laner. Odin, terrible at peeling.
Well, Odin's
Khepri,
engaged.
one of the best.
Odin's just engage and try and lock down away from your carries, whereas literally Khepri will allow your carry to just respawn one more time.
Well, that's the problem, again, is that there isn't a whole lot of engage for Obey a second time in a row. They're really relying on the long-range poke from Variety, and then CaptainTwig being the initiator with Ragnarok.
Well, good opportunity there, exploited by Obey. They steal the red buff on the left-hand side of the map and trade their balls back that they lost a little bit earlier on that we saw Zapman take away.
Zap gonna get some good poke onto PandaLike, but it's Ataraxia he's looking at, not able to find the auto attacks. Ataraxia just a little bit too fast.
But good work from Zapman there, up against two of us on the right-hand side. The speed invade from Eagles here.
CaptainTwig stunned out. He's got the tank boots. Is it gonna be enough to finish him? No, the tank boots coming up huge for CaptainTwig in the jungle. He will save his life, but he'll lose his speed buff.
And you can see Variety just a little bit too late there at that speed buff to try and get involved, but hang on a second. Looks like Ataraxia and PandaLike return the favor to Zap a little bit there.
Zap, that was all Ataraxia. Looks like PandaLike in base, so Ataraxia able to force Zapman back yet again, though he is playing Jing Wei, so it's not as impactful.
Yeah, don't forget that the Jing Wei passive is going to play a crucial part into this Chronos Jing Wei matchup. Chronos also has the wave clear as well as Jing Wei, so it's up to if they want to box or if they don't want to box.
Big key there is whether they're going to do or not. We'll just find out as this one continues here as well. And as we hear at the Cobb Energy Center in Atlanta, just so you know, local time, this set started at 1:30 and it is currently just past 5 here in the event. That just shows how long this set has gone on. And that's a lot of pressure on these boys to play at this level for so long.
And you can talk about that football, how grueling it is to play Smite at this sort of level, to have that sort of focus and concentration for this long. It's very difficult to stay focused.
Yeah, it's really rough playing in the best of 5. You start losing your momentum, and some people don't have the energy to keep going and playing on a top level.
And the worst thing is, at the highest level as well, just one small mistake, and you could really lose the game.
Without
Especially
a doubt.
in the late games as well. In the late game, if you make a mistake or one mistake, that could change the entire team fight.
Exactly. It hasn't been one team rolling over another back and forth. It's been very long games, at least the last 2. And those are always harder to stay focused throughout and then again afterwards. And we're Polar Bear Mike sitting right next to us here in the booth, and he was talking to me about how he's been in these situations where he tries to come back from these best of 5s. And even when you win the next 2 games, it is so difficult to battle back and win 3 in a row in these
And there's so
scenarios.
much pressure on this game 5 as well. Some people can't take it, and other people thrive on that pressure as well.
Well, we'll find out who thrives this game, but for sure, I guarantee you, Zapman will be looking to thrive like he has all set long so far. The speed buff on the right-hand side, it looks like it was stolen away there by PandaLike with a cheeky one over the wall.
Wow, that's PandaLike for you. I mean, you saw how much he got in the head of Best last time around. Baited Best into getting himself killed by PrettyPriMe. That's exactly what he does so well.
Speaking of PandaLike, for me, if PandaLike ults to Zeus and Zeus stays alive, or if he can get the revive off, I think PrettyPriMe can carry this game. So I think PandaLike is one of those wild card type of people where if he can get that ultimate off and keep the Zeus alive for the team fights, I think Obey have a really good chance.
And you need that little bit of wild card. You need that little bit of luck when you're going this deep into the set as well. Left-hand side, the red buff is stolen away by Obey. Zapman engaged on for a second by Twig, but it's all focused on farm from Obey.
Zapman doesn't want to let it go, but he doesn't really have much of a choice. PandaLike is here. Aror finds the freeze, but it's the Zeus ultimate coming down on top of Ymir. Best, he's the lighthouse, but doesn't have quite enough damage. PrettyPriMe gets a kill there, 2 the way of Obey.
And it was 2 free kills, so pretty much 1 ultimate. That's all that was used was Prime's ultimate there. Didn't have to force anything too much. They just set him up and he went, thanks very much.
The shell never even got popped there from Aror. He never got the chance to get it off. Obey get 2 kills. They get the boards. They get the Gold Fury as well.
And Aror has to be especially careful, especially against a Fenrir, a Variety who's on Erlang, Shen. All this CC is really hard to play against as a Ymir.
And I mentioned it earlier on. I love Ymir into the Zeus, into the Khepri, but that's when Ymir is on the offensive. On the defensive end, he very much struggles against gods like Variety's Erlang Shen that can CC him from a distance, and allow the damage dealers to really pick on that immobile aspect of Ymir.
And if Ymir's playing it defensive against the CaptainTwig who's playing Fenrir, or a Zeus, or a Fed Khepri as well, it's really hard to play, and I feel like Aror might be able to get farmed on.
Well, it's around a 1,700 gold lead early on for Obey now with the invades that have happened and that Gold Fury too. Take into account as well that First Blood comes into play. And I'm looking at where those kills actually went to.
The best case scenario is where those kills actually went to. Ataraxia gets the First Blood, and then PrettyPrime's able to pick up the second one, and then that Gold Fury on top of that. These are the two that are going to be looking to carry. Last time it was Variety, also on a damage dealer. You wanted him to get ahead early, but this time it's solely on the shoulders of PrettyPrime and Ataraxia.
Well, hang on a second, because it's PandaLike over to the solo lane this time to put a bit of pressure onto Divios there for a second, but bringing down Jing 10's not going to be an easy task, because the left-hand harpies, CaptainTwig's here, and he goes in.
Oh, the wall, just keeping CaptainTwig off of them. He goes over top, but it's enough to dissuade Eager from going on top of it. CaptainTwig actually cancels his Brutalize, running in a circle, rush Twig, can't go fast enough. DJ able to pick up the kill.
Don't know what Twig was really thinking there, let's be honest. He dives in against 3 members alone. Team was a little bit too far away. Yeah, he could have got revived from Khepri, but that's all that would have happened there overall. Funballer, nerves?
I'm not sure why he ulted there. I think he might have misclicked a button, or sometimes that happens, especially in this type of game where you're on the best of 5 as well.
I understand the ult, I think, just to try and give him momentum to get away, but like the engage and the initial part was very strange.
I think he was trying to bait out the wrap from Best. You could see him use the Brutalize, then immediately cancel it. You're a free target to get wrapped whenever you're brutalizing the Anubis. I think he was trying to sidestep it by canceling it right away, but Best read him like an open book, was able to find it and pick up the assist on the kill. But even despite that, look at the level disparity between PrettyPrime and Best in the middle lane. 2 levels in favor of Obey's mid.
And that's what you want Zeus to do. You want him to be ahead as well, especially against a Anubis. If Anubis is behind, we said this before as well, and if Anubis is behind, he's not going to do as much as a Zeus late game.
Very, very true indeed. Well, you did see there that Obey did manage to steal away the red buff after Twig respawned with the Wrath, and once again, the ball's on the left-hand side away from Zapman.
Another wall coming out from Aror, but not impactful, as we've seen Twig jump over those time and time again. PrettyPrime here in the middle lane as well, almost finishing off those boots, whereas you can see Best going for that Pythags rush yet again. We've seen him do this every single game he's played Anubis, neglecting to go for the early mobility. And that could certainly hurt him in a meta where it's so important to get to your early buffs and rotate to those quickly. He's going for the power instead of the movement speed.
Yeah, and you see CaptainTwig, he built Titan's Bane too. I don't personally like that. Getting percentage pen early game is not, it's not really effective compared to getting like a Jotun's Wrath with flat pen. You do more damage with the flat pen.
I absolutely agree with you. Very curious decision from CaptainTwig to go into this percent.
Maybe it's because he went tank boots as well.
Could be. Well, he's ganking the right-hand side right now on Divios. And he goes for a nice little tumble down to Variety, who picks up that kill. So Twig gets himself straight back in the game.
Twig is just being the facilitator right now for Obey. That's exactly what he's here for. That's exactly what his playstyle has been the entire time that Obey's had this success. They've been giving PrettyPrime and Ataraxia these hard carry gods and allowing Twig, Variety, and PandaLike to set up for them.
And Twig is definitely playing more aggressive this game. He's on the Fenrir. That's what he needs to do. He needs to make sure djpernicus doesn't get as great a lead as he did last game and just focus on PrettyPrime.
And right now, even though he did gank the right-hand side, there is a small disparity between himself and djpernicus as well. But items-wise, very, very even between the two as we look towards mid lane now, where PandaLike at level 9 has a small lead over Aror on that Ymir.
And another wave shared in the middle lane because PrettyPrime is so far ahead as far as experience goes. That's the kind of advantage that gives you. You're allowed to split more waves and get those experience spread out throughout your entire team. Allow your supports to get a little bit ahead. We saw what PandaLike could do whenever he was super far ahead in levels on Sylvanas, trying to do the same thing here on Khepri.
Obey have done a really good job though with attempting to control Eager's jungle the whole time. And when you think about the 5th game in a set as well, you've got to remember the timers of these buffs, and when they're not on the normal timers that you're used to, it can really throw you off.
This game is definitely slower paced compared to the other games. This is a best of 5, and this is a game 5. Definitely slower. I think if one team makes a mistake, another team is going to try and get as much as possible.
And you can see the biggest disparity as far as levels goes is in the duo lane. Ataraxia 2 levels up on Zapman, as well as a bunch of gold, about 500 gold in the lead, even despite that pass.
Wick goes in mid lane there, a little bit aggressive, looking for a pick, and he picks up Aror, and Aror will take a tumble down to Prime, but in comes DJ trying to make something happen. Sadly, not going to be the case.
Reactionary shell there from PANDALIKE, but didn't even need it. DJ was getting out as soon as possible. Ataraxia, I love this play, trying to bait Zapman into his own jungle, but again, a well-timed pick leads to an invade for Obey.
But we saw in the minimap there was a lot of pings on these left-hand harpies down from Eager saying, Twig is here, yet he still manages to go in and find the kill.
That's because Auror's playing Ymir, can't really move around too much.
Meanwhile, Twig goes in again, looks towards Zapman, forced away with the Berserker Barrage, and Divios being in support. The Gold Fury reset for a moment as Obey fall back to their half of the map.
No sustain on either side this time around, except for that meditation from Variety, who's level 13, picked up a second relic already. Wrath is up for CaptainTwig, but the pull is on to Aror.
And they want Divios, and Divios is low, and Divios is dead, but round the back comes djpernicus as the boys of Obey march forward. Aror could be the focal point here for the team of Obey, and Aror is running away from the pup that is Variety and his friends.
PrettyPriMe just doing it all right now for Obey. 4-0-1 for the mid laner, already level 13, another Gold Fury going the way of Obey.
And this is what you need, Fumble. You need to get off to a good pace, and right now, CaptainTwig is the man I am looking at here. He's the only European player to come to 3 World Championships in a row, and he has stepped it up this game, even though he tumbled early.
And CaptainTwig fed Zeus. That's what they needed to do, especially against the Ratatoskr, so PrettyPriMe doesn't get abused by that Ratatoskr dishwasher combo.
And why are you picking Anubis? To get pressure in the mid lane early. And we just haven't seen that from Best. You can see it's been Zeus because of that pressure from CaptainTwig, because of the buff invades consistently on red. And you also have to give credit to Ataraxia on that left-hand side, making sure that he's pushing his lane before Zapman does to allow that rotation into the left side jungle.
The Chronos has also been super aggressive compared to usual. He got the early kill as well as Prime did in that first engagement, and that's what he needed. He needed to be ahead of this Jing wave, making sure Zapman is down. Zapman was the one that got them back into the game last game, and so on, so forth.
And Prime right now, 4.5k in terms of damage. Not a monstrous amount, but most of the kills. And that is so, so important to get Prime big, get him strong, get him comfortable as well. We saw his relic usage in the last engagement, nicely timed, to allow him to clean up Divios, who's being focused again.
Little bit of aggression still on the Divios, using it, but Aror around the backside. There goes the dishwasher. Divios tosses PANDALIKE into the wall. One-man knockup. It's only PANDALIKE, but there is the ultimate from both.
But he's still alive.
And Aror, how is he still alive?
He absorbs all that damage, and it comes to naught for Eager. Eager used 4 ultimates, and they don't even get a single kill.
Shell is good there for PANDALIKE. He's just able to use all of those ticks and absorb them all, basically, despite all that damage. I mean, Best hit almost all of his ticks from Death Gaze. It didn't matter. Like you mentioned, Hundu, 4 ultimates used.
That's best case for PANDALIKE. PANDALIKE didn't die there. He got the ultimate off early. They could have waited even if it was super low.
Yep.
But they didn't have the damage. djpernicus did not have the damage there.
And credit where it was due as well to really what PANDALIKE chose to do there too, because what he did was he ran at the Anubis to get out the grasping hands, but to also try and avoid the damage from the ultimate too, which bought him more time.
Yeah, he was going to take the damage from the ticks anyway of the Anubis ult. Khepri is a big bug. He's going to take all that damage, and
yep.
Yeah, that was a good play.
It worked out really well, and now Obey have a bit of a power play on the left-hand side here, as Zapman's not really back in his tower just yet.
Obey just working together as a unit. PANDALIKE not even here. He's in the middle lane trying to defend, but he might be in a little bit of trouble. But we saw how tanky he was last time, and that dissuades Eager from trying to do anything against him. T1 tower on the left-hand side goes down.
It's almost like Eager have forgotten who PANDALIKE is in this game, because PANDALIKE is very good at baiting. Twig goes in deep in the back though, forcing the ultimate out of the Best in response, and Ataraxia is here too, but here comes Divios as well.
Divios can't find the knock-up, can't find the root. Speaking of baiting, that was PrettyPriMe baiting himself to get wrapped by Anubis, and then they immediately had CaptainTwig jump in, get those purification and the ultimate as well.
I like what Chronos opted for. He went for the Obsidian shot instead of the winged one there, and they got the easy tower. He was doing plenty of damage onto the tower, and I feel like they should try and force mid. They're already ahead. They just force best speeds as well.
Well, Variety's fighting 2 on the right-hand side. A little bit nervous there, so going to ult to make sure he can heal himself back up again and sustain in the lane.
But again, it's Variety. Look at the lead he's gotten himself over top of Divios. He's 3 levels up right now. You can see the XP per minute. Divios still 120 XP behind.
And this was due to CaptainTwig's ganks as well. He got the one gank on Divios, forced him out of the lane, and then Variety had the option to farm as well.
And not only that, it's also been these invades over and over again into Eager's jungle. That red buff on the left-hand side for Eager, I don't think they've had one this game.
And that's what makes Jing a weird solo laner. If he gets behind early game, he's more useless than he should have been. Last game he was against the Thanatos, he could farm, he could just wait until late game, but now he's against the Erlang Shen.
And Erlang Shen will just poke you to high heaven every single time.
Super pressure in the solo lane from Erlang Shen, and that's what I like this adjustment that Obey has made. You know Divios is going to play Guardians of the solo lane. He's done it every single game this series. Give Variety an early game warrior. I still would have liked to see the Ymir, but obviously they got picked away from him. So making the best of that situation, and he's played it perfectly thus far.
And it has allowed CaptainTwig to pick up this Fenrir this game then instead. A little bit less utility on him, so to speak. I say that, but Fenrir's got plenty in the grand scheme of things.
Just the initiations is the thing. CaptainTwig now gonna jump in immediately. Best uses that ultimate, but he's just waiting it out, picks him up into the lightning storm. Khepri ultimate onto Twig, he doesn't even need it. He's gonna pick up the Best.
And DJ in the sky, but the tower's already down, and Obey are 7-1 in the lead now. The speed buff on the right is up, and CaptainTwig's gonna be there to deny DJ from even trying to go for it.
There it is, the jump, the stun, the wrap. DJ needs the sanctuary, trying to trade out, got the stun, just able to
He's gonna do it!
No!
He's gonna do it! He dives in and picks it up!
Twig still running, he's got the speed buff. No, Twig, don't back there, you're out. Just keep running through the tower.
No, he's through!
No
One more time over the wall! And Eager can't get him. Zapman, he wants to chase. It looks like he's gonna go for it. He needs a shot, and he's not gonna find it at the end. In comes Variety to help get his jungler away.
That is just heartbreaking if you're rooting for Eager. CaptainTwig absolutely getting away with murder there. Luckily, Eager groups up, pushes down this right-hand tower, it looks like, but all the while, Obey fighting in the mid lane while Variety goes for a ride.
Against the world he is right now in 3 members of Eager, and I think he was looking to trade that out, but he will fall down here at the end. Even with meditation, he won't have enough time to get the transformations back up.
But Obey gets a tier 2 tower in middle. Not only is that 1,500 gold into Obey's favor, pushing that lead dangerously close to that 10,000 gold difference, but you're making that already difficult to play and difficult position Anubis have less places to run in the map.
And even though Vari got picked there, they got the mid tower. That's what they wanted. Tier 2 is way more important.
Wicked again, and he's gonna pick on Zapman, forcing the purification one more time. Twig is just feeling himself so much this game.
Twig is playing so well. It's not about the adapting style Fenrir where he's doing 1,000,000 damage and killing everyone. It's about getting relics, getting those timers, and then looking for the engage. We saw him do it in the middle lane against Best, gets the ult, gets the purification, then next time comes in, picks him up in the Ragnarok, and that opens up the map.
Well, here comes Zapman again, looking at Ataraxia, but Zapman took a big brunt of damage, and CaptainTwig will clean him up. We will salute you, Twig, and he's about to potentially fall down. No, that's still alive again.
DJ can't find it, the brutalized DJ falls to Ataraxia, now it's Aror running for his life, nowhere to go, taunted back in, Variety able to pick it up, 3 dead for Eager.
And the tier 1 tower on the right will fall as well. Only 2 towers and 3 phoenixes stand between Obey and the Titan that will take him to the World Championships.
Ataraxia is just doing so much damage right now for Obey. He just waited, and now finally makes the rotation over to the right-hand side and makes a big impact.
The Chronos is ahead. This is what we needed. We didn't need the Sol Way, he's just passive. We needed the early aggression, and the 16k XP up.
Divios teleports in, trying to slow them down, but walks into an army, and another member of Eager falls as this fire giant is still being done. Zapman is not on his way, it seems. They're going to give this one up and allow Obey the free fire giant.
PANDALIKE is
he's a troll.
One of a kind. I mean, this guy, he's about to go to, he's looking like he's about to go to the finals of Worlds after almost losing a series where you went up 2-0. and then he just trolls and gets reset by the Fire Giant using his own ultimate.
Listen, I only brought in the story of Worlds 1 for the fact that that seems to always happen in these best-of-5 series from what I've seen. Teams can go 2 ahead, but if it gets back to 2-2, the team that started off are generally the ones that seem to find that little bit of fire at the end.
And that's what, going back to what Polar Bear Mike was telling me, it's just so difficult. You use so much of your mental and physical energy to get back, and then you're finally even. But Obey was just coasting through those games, basically. Yes, they were trying very hard, but it isn't that same sort of mental strain to get back into the series.
I just want to go over CaptainTwig one more time for the fact that during the last few engagements we've seen him, he was equal level until now where he's got a big boost. He was relatively even with the rest of Team Eager. He had fallen behind early when we saw him take a tumble, which looked like nerfs to me on that left-hand side. And since then, he has worked wondrously to put his team on his back and take him towards the finals.
Ever since that first engagement on the left-hand side, like you mentioned, where he gets picked off for free, he's had an absolutely unbelievable game, stepping up when they need him most.
Well, Eager are going to try and do their best to stop, but Twig is having none of that. He picks up Aror and brings him back like a dog, like a bone. Next on the list is DJ, who jumps in, trying to slow them down.
Prime!
The boys of Eager are going to be pushed back in the base by Prime and the Zeus ultimate.
Just too much damage. Divios barely able to escape by the skin of his teeth, but Ataraxia still full health, swinging at these Phoenixes. Left one already down, middle Phoenix as well. 13-2, Obey absolutely dominant.
And now the final Phoenix stands between Obey and the Titan 2. Divios trying to slow them down, but Divios is dead again. The magical damage is too much as Twig stands in front of 3, and he doesn't care right now as PANDALIKE will keep him alive once more.
Still 5 members of Obey here at the Titan. 4 members here for Eager. The wall off from Aror keeps them out of the Titan room for now, but it looks like, oh, Prime almost finds him.
And Zapman gets caught too, forced to purify away back to base. Variety still looking at DJ here as the boys of Obey are looking to just bomb Eager in their spawn room.
Aror now taking a ton of damage. The wall comes out, but the Titan, it's falling too fast. Obey Alliance, they're going to the finals!
Europe claims first blood! And right now, there you have it, Obey Alliance, a team that was formed at the start of the year of renegades, of randos, put together by Ataraxia and PrettyPriMe, and now they're the first European finalists.
Unbelievable. This is a team that wasn't even projected to make Worlds. No one had faith in them at Super Regionals, but now here they are, ready to go to the 2017 World Finals.
Absolute beautiful performance from them, but give credit where it's due to Team Eager, because they put on one hell of a show today for you all. They've worked hard all year long. They're a team that have started this year and got on better and better as time has gone.
Just an amazing will to fight back there by Eager. They almost did it, but by the end of by the game 5, just from the get-go, PrettyPriMe able to get fed, and you called it right at the beginning, Fun Ball. You were looking at PrettyPriMe on this first pick, Zeus, to make the difference, and he certainly did.
It was just unfortunate, really. Zeus got the ahead early game, and Obey took the advantage with that.
And Obey now going to have their opportunity in the finals, but who will they face? Well, first of all, we need to go back to the analysts and talk us all about Game 5 and how Obey made it there.
Congratulations to Obey Alliance. They're going to the finals. And what a thrilling best of 5 that was. Welcome back, everyone, to the Analyst Desk. Golden Boy here with Taco and SunTouch. And guys, this one was, it looked good. It looked good for Eager on paper. But what they did not account for was the Fenrir just shredding through them. And they find their way in the finals, awaiting the winner of Energy Luminosity. What a match.
That was just absolutely incredible gameplay, I think, by Twig, really diving deep into the God Pool. Fenrir was definitely not a pick that I think most people, or even Eager, were really anticipating him to pull out. And I think that he displayed it excellently. He was non-stop aggressing and really just ensuring kind of what Pern and Divios have been doing to Prime the past 2 games. He started doing to Best. He was just always going after the Anubis or jumping onto the Jing way, getting that stun, jump reset and everything, and like having his cooldowns. The snowball was absolutely incredible to witness.
Yeah, this was CaptainTwig's moment. He put the team on his back and said, we're going to the finals. This is the way, my friends. And he was given the freedom to do that with this Khepri pick as well. He could go as aggressive as he wanted, diving into the back lane, knowing that PANDALIKE would be there to protect him. And I feel like that was a big frustration for Iga, just knowing they couldn't really focus down CaptainTwig while he was, you know, taking kill after kill because of that Khepri ultimate.
It was very surprising to see how CaptainTwig, you know, I would say he had a pretty good series for the most part, right? Like nothing that he did in particular was just like, you know, bad or wrong. Like, yeah, in, you know, game 3, he struggled a little bit on the Rat, like didn't really get what he wanted out of that one. Then you fast forward to game 4, he picks up the Erlang, and again, he doesn't do bad, just doesn't do great either. And it really just speaks, as you said, Santosh, the confidence that Obey had in him, because that ban phase, or the picks and bans, 100% were focused on Variety. They said, Variety's the target. He's the one that we have to take out. We took his tier. We actually took the Ymir. And it didn't matter because Obey had other weapons in their arsenal. Unbelievable, Taco.
No, it was definitely just, like I was saying, it's absolutely incredible to witness.
Yeah.
I mean, once that Zeus and Fenrir really started to come online, and when you add into the mix the fact that they had the Khepri to back them up for any kind of, you know, kill potential that, you know, Ymir might have had against them, it was just devastating. There was really no stopping it once it came online, and it showed, like, it definitely showed.
Well, guys, I mean, this has been such an incredible day, and it just started, right? We're like, this is it. This is the first of our NAEU doubleheader. I'm gonna get your opinions. We're not gonna see you guys on the desk for the next one. So real quick, Energy, Luminosity, who do you guys have? We'll start with you, Taka.
Luminosity is NA's last hope. So.
Ooh, all right.
Let's do the all-EU final. EU for the win, baby.
All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for your incredible analysis. And for now, we're going to go ahead, toss it over to the stage with the one and only F. Dot.
Thanks a lot, Golden Boy. I really appreciate it. And the crowd certainly appreciates you. Now, obviously, I'm a little bit sick. I'm sorry, guys. But that set was sick as well. We saw all 5 games. Now, game 5 went by pretty quick. Talk to me about how easy you made it look. What's it like to snap back that hard after dropping 2 games?
It was pretty rough, you know. Speaking of it being a 6 set, by the way, I did tweet that yesterday. I said I can't wait for it. It's going to be literally a 6 set, and then unfortunately half the players on both teams are actually really sick. Thank you, Barracuda. No, it's really unique to be in that position, because the last time we had a best of 5 go that long, I was in the opposite position. So we were Titan against PrettyPriMe in the finals, and then we lost 2, then won 2, and then unfortunately lost the 5th. And I'm glad it repeated this time. Just, I'm on the right side of it this time, yeah.
Well, you use the word unique, and when it comes to Eager, I think unique is a very good descriptor for the way they play. You had to play against Anubis more times than I think any team has had to do so in the past. What's it like playing against a team like Team Eager that you don't really know what's going to come out?
It's crazy, you know, they're so creative as a team, because the Anubis pick really works because they had, you know, a really tanky team, but most importantly at the start they invade that red buff, and then they go and proxy the wave in between the 2 towers, and they can only do that because of Anubis, which is, you know, that's so intelligent, and I don't think any team has really displayed the same ingenuity Iga have this season. Like, for me, in Season 3, they were by far and away the most creative and intelligent team.
So, with how intelligent they are, what is it about Obey that allowed you to overcome that type of intelligence?
I think we're quite so we scrim a lot, and half the times we scrim it goes really, really badly, and we get kind of angry, and it's not, you know, scrims with Obey is not a pleasant experience, is what I'll say. But I think that has kind of hardened us for these situations. Everyone knows it's time to buckle down and really get stuff together. So it's I think it's because of our really, really bad scrims.
All right, and one more specific about that set. Y'all went Thanatos solo. Is that something you guys have practiced? Is that something you took from the Chinese team? Or talk to me about that pick in general.
I think everyone kind of steals from China, right? They have some crazy ideas. But no, it's something we've been practicing leading up to this. Unfortunately, it wasn't as effective against the way Eager played because of how they played the map, which is, you know, massive kudos to them. But it's a pick we practiced.
Well, congratulations. You're heading on to the finals, and you're going up against, well, we'll see. How do you feel about both of your opponents, if that's the case?
Well, you know, it's pretty, both of them would be fantastic opponents because NRG, EU versus EU finals, which, you know, oh, that's the one thing I really hope that we prove that EU is not just a one-team region, you know, there's at least 2 of us, so that's nice. But if LG win, then me and Prime get to have our revenge on Barracuda and Jeff, and double revenge for getting everyone sick. So yeah, if it's LG, we'll beat him for that. For all you sick people in the audience, we'll smash down Barracuda.
Absolutely. Now, once again, congratulations. You are making it to the finals, the first team qualified. That's going to do it for us up here. They punked me before, and I'm going to get Hindu Man back. So why don't we watch this music video featuring Hindu Man, the Fat Egg.